Hare Krishna, I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhuji to enlighten us on topic Sri Caitanya Charitamrta Antya Leela 1.38 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Please take over the call Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you are muted. Okay. Yeah. Prabhuji, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself, please? Yes,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Japa Sangha group. Wonderful devotees. I'm with you all for a while, and I appreciate each of you are wonderful devotees, inspiring. I get a lot of inspiration from your association, so I appreciate. Thank you, and I pray to Prabhupada and Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially Rupa Goswami Pad and Baladev Vidyabhasan Thakur and Gangamata Goswami, that you all progress in this life to the utmost that human can take and go back home, back to God at the end of your life. And you all also please bless me and pray for me so I can also go there with you all and serve to the divine couple. So with that note, we'll start. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. So we are serving Caitanya Charitamrta Antalila, chapter 1, text 38. Am I right? And onwards. So not 138, it's 38. Am I right, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So the verse says, Rupa Goswai Prabhur Pase Korila Gamana Prabhure Dekhite Tara Utkantita Mana. Synonyms, Srila Prabhupada. Rupa Goswami, Prabhu Pase, the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Karila Gamana departed for Prabhure Dekhite to see Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tara, he is Utkantita, full of anxiety, mana, mind. Rupa Goswami then departed to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for he was very eager to see him. So here the Utkantita is very significant. Jiva Goswami Pad give a commentary on Rupa Goswami Pad's writings as his disciple. And Utkantita is the highest form of Brajabashi's prema. Brajabashi's prems are divided into three. One is Vivek Shunna Prem, Vishrambana Prem, and Utkantita, Utkantamayi Prem. So Rupa Goswami, obviously, as a Rupa Manjari and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani, their attraction is naturally Utkantita. This is very powerful word. 39. Anupamer lagi taro kichu bilamba hoila bhaktagana pase aila lagna paila Anupamer lagi, on account of the passing away of Anupam, Tara of Rupa Goswami, Kichu Sam, Bilamba delay, Hoila, there was Bhaktagana Pasa to the devotees in Bengal. Bhaktagana Pasa to the devotees in Bengal. I guess proper translated, even though there is no Bengal there, but because he's coming to Bengal from Vrindavan. Aila came, lag na paila. He could not contact them. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. There was some delay because of the death of Anupam, and therefore when Rupa Goswami went to Bengal to see the devotees there, he could not get in touch with them because they had already left. So I do not know the format of study, but sometimes for me it's very difficult to go further unless we have some idea what is happening, take place. So I'm going to narrate a little bit. Before that, I would like to invoke the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, beginning with these prayers to each of our individual Guru. Om Jnanatimidandhassa Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Pada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vancha Kalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhubhayevacham Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this chapter, since I came to know last night that you already went to Antalila, I thought we are still in Madhalila, I guess. So everybody is going in high speed. So please pray for me so I can go with you all in high speed. I'm just a little slow. But by the mercy of all Vaishnavas, Prabhupada and Guru Parampara and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hopefully I'll keep it up. So this morning I was reading a little bit and I noticed that Srila Prabhupada summarized Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Amrita Prabha Vaishya. That this chapter gives a very essential important subject is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's traveling back to Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a magnet, and different sets of devotees. There are few different sets according to the relationship. And if you look at the acharyas, they do not just blend everybody in one category. They even write songs. Vrindavana Vasi Jata Vaishnavera Gana Nilachala Vasi Jata Mahaprabhu Jana. So they even write song, the Vrindavana Vasi Jata one, Navadvip Vasi another, Nilachal Vasi another. Unity in diversity. This is wonderful. This is how ISKCON, we see in ISKCON. In Mayapur, I was there in February. There's a different group. There's a Russian devotee groups. There is a, of course, Indian devotees group. There's a Bangladeshi devotee group. There's a Chinese devotee group. There's a different group. It's so beautiful, but we all have a common nature, common thread amongst, it's passing through everyone, that we all love Krishna. We all love Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We want to revive our dormant love, our eternal assets, and go back to spiritual world and serve them. So because of this common interest, we gather in one place with individual differences from each other, but we all adore to sing and dance together and perform this. So this is what Mahaprabhu is doing. Mahaprabhu is coming back to Puri, but the devotees from Navadvip are coming. Devotees from Vrindavan are coming. From South India also, Raghunath Bhatta, they also came. Ramdas Biswas, they also came to Jagannath Puri. Haridas Thakur already was there. So different groups are meeting. So most prominent pastimes narrated by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that he said, I'm already invalid and old, and he is very nicely submitting a humility, which is very attractive. We can learn all that. That material difficulties like pandemic, epidemic, or old age, or we are eternally, not eternally, since a long time we are locked down in the material world. This is horrible, and nobody thinks much. Only this physical, social distance lockdown, they are like concerned. Then you get a material body, is another lockdown within lockdown. So there is always problem in this material world, but we should be aware that we are, since long time, million years, we are locked down. We should, so to get out, this is one opportunity Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us. There Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami emphasizing the affection Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had for everyone, and it's still today, it is active. One should not think that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, the whole actually planet got delivered. And somebody says, well, what about America? Was there also that? I said, well, according to what we understand, it is not that every living being was delivered. It is living being, those who are awake. Like for an example, this is just my example, that if you are poor and I give you $1 billion check, but I don't tell you how to cash it, you will treat it like you will not believe it. It is $1 billion and no bank actually cash it. And first of all, you have to learn how to open a bank account. You have to learn how to find out this. So similarly, Mahaprabhu gave us $1 billion check of Krishna Pran, how to awaken, which is in a latent position within our heart. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Govunai Savanadi Suddha Chitte Karay Uday. So those things are evident, but how many people are excited about it? Even those who join, they are not so much thrilled sometimes because they cannot have access. So this is the point. And this type of pastimes, it gives us the clue that how in this chapter, Sivananda Sen, who had affection and some care to a dog, and actually that dog got immediately delivered because he was not committing offense. Prabhupada emphasized this point so much. Sometimes devotee, they say, how come a dog got delivered and I'm not? As a dog did not commit offense. Because we commit offense, that doesn't mean dog is better life than us. No, we can have a choice. We are product of our decision, not situation. Means we have a conscious choice to be under Yogamaya or Mahamaya. That choice is within us. And if we can somehow or other draw the attention of our advanced well-wisher, Prabhupada and all other Acharya, even present gurus, to pray for us, for me, for you, and they are submitting to Krishna, then we'll see a big change. So what we do, sadhana is not just to advance on my own. Sadhana to draw the attention of the advanced devotee's heart. So they can actually bless us, and then it will become just like the dog guarded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then another significant in this chapter, or the most significant also you could say, is that Rupa Goswami is meeting to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and establishing the highest principle of Sadharma, eternal religion, and how so many things in these pastimes, in this chapter has exhibited. That Rupa Goswami, first of all, who is Rupa Goswami Pad? Sometimes we think if we have a close proximity with Prabhupada or any advanced soul, then we are advanced. Or this Prabhu is traveling with this Maharaj, he must be advanced. Not necessarily. Rupa Goswami Pad, how long did he associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If you really count, first of all, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had 48 years, our calculation, 24 years in Grihastha life, where Rupa Goswami Pad, they never met. They had a correspondence. Parabeshanani, Nari, Begropi, Griha Karmasu. Those verses are given by Rupa Goswami Pad that he got a letter from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but never physically met. They met only on the third year, that after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got sannyas. And even it was a brief couple days. And then, of course, at Prayag, Dasaswamed Ghat, and just few occasions, and now in Jagannath Puri. 10 days there, here few days, hardly you see. And some of the devotee, like Govinda, Ishan Thakur, grow up till 24 years, he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You hardly ever hear about him. What did he express? What did he get? So much intimate associate. He saw Mahaprabhu raising from a baby to young. So not necessarily the mercy distributor or you would say inner heart revelation is revealed to somebody who lives in physical proximity. Rupa Goswami Pad was not living so close to Mahaprabhu for long, very few. 10 days here, 1 week here, and 2 weeks there, that's it. But Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale. In this chapter, we find that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he came to relish and give. Two things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for. One is for himself as Krishna, to relish the three unfulfilled desire of Radharani's experience. Radharani's Pranay Prem. What is the love of Radharani's Pranay? Pranay is a stage. Anyway, that's another subject. But itself, so he came to release this, and then how Radharani released the entire sweetness of Krishna. So in this sloka, Sri Radha Pranaya Mahima Kidrishavana Eva Saddo Jena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrishava Madhya Shokkanchasa Mad Anubhavat Kidrishaveti Lobha Tad Bhavadya Jani Sachigarva Sindhu Harindu. That verse gives the explanation that Krishna is the Rasa. Krishna has the Madhuri, sweetness, but he is not able to relish to the highest degree. Asray jatiya sukh amara sad ama hoite kotigun ashray alad. Srimati Radharani enjoying million times more than himself. He came to that point in Prema Vichitta. These things are in this chapter, very confidential, very confidential. Antalila, beginning with this Rupa Goswami, Ramananda Rai discourse will be there very soon in this chapter. So just to get this point that Srila Prabhupada writes that Rupa Goswami Pad, he came to Bengal with his brother Anupam, and then his brother Anupam left this body. And you all know Anupam's story, that Anupam is a Ram Bhakta. And we whenever I think of Anupam, immediately it comes that Mahaprabhu has established something very sweet and sublime. This is one of the few points when you put forward to the indecisive philosopher of some group of Vaishnava, then they step back because they know that you are aware of this. That they say, no, you have to come to us, and then we will give the mantra, and then you can enter in Golok Vrindavan in that madhuri, in that mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give his Brajabodhus. So, but we say, but that's not true. If it is true, then why Rupa Goswami Pad told to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I tried with my brother. And my brother, early morning, I went to see, and he was crying and crying and crying. That whole night he is trying to worship Radha Krishna. But every moment he thinks of Radha Krishna, Sita Ram just appear in front of him. And he feels guilty. He wants to follow Mahaprabhu. He wants to follow his brother, Rupa Sanatan. He wants to, at the same time, be loyal to Sita Ram by inviting Radha Krishna. This Siddhanta does not conflict, but it concludes that whatever relationship and rasa is fixed in each soul, Kriti Saddha Bhavet Saddha Bhava Sa Sadhana Vidha Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakritam Ridi Saddhata. Whatever you have, Nitya Siddha Bhav, that will come out. You cannot bring out of you something you are not. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem. That's why Prabhupada quote this verse randomly. This is one of the Chaitanya Charitamrita verse that Prabhupada quotes so much that you'll be like surprised, because they want to establish this point. We don't need to worry about our Sarup and all other. Just like if you plant a seed, you don't need to worry about to pull out the fruits and flower from the tree. What you have to worry about, watering, make sure there is a fence, no aparad. So you have to have an aparad fence, 4 types of aparad fence. Seva aparad, dham aparad, of course Vaishnava aparad is the main, and then nam aparad. So Vaishnava aparad 6 types, very dangerous. You may want to put a very deadly fence, so not visible other side, no offense at all, period. So if you have 4 types of fences, then you worry about those. And then you water, make sure the sunlight is there. Then automatically, if you keep on chanting and hearing about Harikatha, Krishna Katha, Bhagavatam, and no offense means fence, you put a fence, so no offense, then automatically that plant, in due course of time, automatically, naturally, flower will come in a budding form. Fruit will come, that Krishna will taste it. You will be at the lotus feet of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan while staying in America in this body. You can be there, same simultaneously, Prabhupada says. So this is Rupa Goswami Pad conclusion in his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So here we learn from this chapter many things, very important things. And today is also Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur. You know, whenever I think of Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, his disappearance day, that today we would not have ISKCON or Gauriya if Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur did not fight for us. Every Acharya in our Parampara has established a tremendous contribution, dedication for the future generation. And of course, Prabhupada did unbelievable things. The worldwide, you know, even I was talking to this professor the other day, I said, in pandemic, how is going there? He said, you know, funny thing that actually we are talking about Krishna consciousness philosophy with 3 professors together the other day over the phone. And we had a Zoom discussion that what to do with the university course. Of course, the classes started. But he said it's the most astonishing that this is the peaceful process to understand God. And he was very thrilled and he was glorifying Srila Prabhupada's writings. Srila Prabhupada has done, of course, unbelievable contribution in my life. I'm sure everybody will feel that in your own personal life. Baladev Vidyabhushan, Prabhupada was so much affected by Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur's own commentary on Bhagavad Gita, that if you look at ISKCON Bhagavad Gita, you'll see in the front, the 2nd page, that Prabhupada offered this book to Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur. Prabhupada offered his Bhagavad Gita because these 5 principles that he gave so much commentary on that's come from Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, Gita Bhashya. The Ishvara, Prakriti or Maya, then Jiva, then Kala, these 4 things are eternal, 4 elements. And then Karma, 5, it's temporary. So this conception, Prabhupada's purport, this all come from Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur. Prabhupada was very much moved by it. Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, of course, he had a wonderful, I would say, experience in his childhood life, where he traveled in his school even in Orissa, that he was very, upbringing was very upscale style of teaching, even in the village that he had. That he was so much moved by the school that he did not want to return to home. His father had a shop. He rather want to pursue further. He didn't even want to come back home. He want to go further where he can go and study more. After that, those days, of course, he would stay in Guru's ashram and study. But after he finished, he graduated. Everybody was on the graduation party. He said, I want to go further study. I don't want to go home and just forget about it. Because if we do not dwell our consciousness into Krishna, automatically it will go to other. Anyway, his father, parents, they allowed, so he pursued and he went to Madhacharya's temple in Udupi, and he studied there. He understood, instead of becoming scholar, he became a Vaishnava. And then later on, he was guided to go to Vrindavan, where he met Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur took him very nicely and actually gave him the essence of, because what he got from up till Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was the 9 principles. The first principle was given that Lord Vishnu is the absolute truth. See, the Krishna conception, the Krishna conception amongst 4 sampradaya, no one has such a highest estimation of happiness or nourishment, heart's fulfillment that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, and through Chaitanya Charitamrta we can see. So it's good sometime to compare, like in our jewelry business. I remember we had the history that when cubic zirconium came to the world, some people got threatened, some jewelers, even Tiffany company was threatened that the diamond business will go down. But actually it was promoted such a way. Also, they realized that actually cubic zirconium promoted diamond value more higher. So sometime to see the glory of Brajavasi, if you go outside Brajadham, Kurukshetra, Dwaraka, Mathura, and hear the Dwaraka, Mathura girls talking about Brajagopis, they cry to be follower of Brajagopis. Brajagopis' glory is in Vrindavan, but not revealed in Vrindavan. Mother Joshoda's love for Krishna is revealed more in Kurukshetra than in Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is everything is normal. But when you go outside, you compare and you start crying that, oh my God, Vrindavan Krishna is unbelievable. That's why Prabhupada translates like this: Krishna is supreme God, and more supreme in Mathura, and most supreme. He is always supreme in 3 categories, but most supreme in Vrindavan. Because there is no actually easy way to compare. Even Vrindavan Krishna in Vrindavan, compared to Vaikuntha, you cannot compare. Okay, Vaikuntha has opulence, but what opulence are you talking? Because even in Bhagavatam, it says that Indira or Mahalakshmi, who is sweeping, is a Mahalakshmi sweeping because there is no other service in Vrindavan, and she cannot give up her opulence form. That's this Mahalakshmi is more than Lakshmi. She is as a sweeper. It says that one dust, the commentary given, that one dust, Sanatana Goswami Pad says, in Vrindavan has more opulence than entire Vaikuntha. But it is not visible because it disrupts the natural affection between Krishna and Brajavasi. So that's why all the opulence of Vaikuntha cannot even compare to a dust of Vrindavan. It's so high. And this conception Mahaprabhu came to give. It's very difficult. So when Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur studied about this 4 sampradaya, and he went to Madhya Sampradaya, he learned this 9 principle. Okay, Lord Vishnu is the absolute truth. Then whom nothing is equal or above, asamurdha. Then how do you know that he is Supreme Lord? By studying Veda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not promote Veda study. I think previous chapter, yes, no, I mean Madhya-lila, last chapter, 25. Actually, it says that the essence of Veda is Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. Tad Rasamrita Tiptasya. On the base of Rasa, Amrit. on the, not the information. Information is good. When you apply the information, then it becomes realized. But it is not enough until it is revealed by the mercy. So similarly, by the standard of rasa, this conception of Srimad Bhagavatam is the highest. And Srimad Bhagavatam is not alone. Srimad Bhagavatam is like a icing on the cake. Chaitanya Charitamrta is like an icing on Bhagavatam. And you can understand that why it is so important that Srila Prabhupada, he did not finish Bhagavatam, but he immediately went to Chaitanya Charitamrta to finish it before. So it's very important, Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are extremely fortunate. So 9 principle, first is Lord Vishnu is the supreme absolute truth, and you know Lord Vishnu through Veda. Madhacharya says, and Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur learned, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, yes, but that's not enough. Bhagavatam is the only one you need, nothing else. You don't need the rest of the Veda. Raghunath Das Goswami says, na dharmam, na adharmam, srutigana niraktam kila kuru, braje radha krishna prachura paricharja ihatanu. Na dharmam, na dharmam. Don't worry about what to do, what not to do, what dharma, what non-religion or dharma. Just only do one thing, worship Radha Krishna. And that form that Radha Krishna combined together, Sachinandan, Sachisuta, Gurutte, and worship, take a guru, shelter, and worship Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna in Vrindavan mood. That's all. This is the essence. Don't worry about dharma or dharma, all these things. It's confusing in Shastra. We also saw that. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur is to take the Shastra and he would promote the impersonalism. So it can be confusing. Then the third point was this material world is not real. Well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not say exactly like this, as the Acharya says. Of course, they are also correct. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving little more. We have to remember 5 things in Tattvagata Vichar, 5 things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got from Madhacharya. It is only Madhacharya who said the 5 eternal 2 things. That's why he has a 2 finger, Madhacharya. This is one of the reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Madhacharya as his sampradaya. So let me finish this 9 principle. So first was Vishnu. The second is through Veda, you know. Third is this material world is not real. And fourth is these jivas, living entity, are different from the Lord. The fifth is jivas are the servant by nature. Nature, but that is a little not clear, because there is a nature, then there is a position, pada, then there is an occupation. 3 things are in every entity. Because your position and your nature may not be same. So similarly, just like Krishna's position, Jadapi Ishwar Tumi Parama Swatantra. Nityananda Prabhu defined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position to King Prataparudra. Say, who are you? Jadapi Ishwar Tumi Parama Swatantra. You are omnipotent, omniscient, by yourself, of yourself, for yourself. Nobody made you God. You are God by yourself. Everything belongs to you. You are the supreme controller. So that's by his pada, position. But then second line Nityananda Prabhu says, Tatapi Jadapi Ishwatami Parama Swatantra Tatapi Svabhave ho Prema Paratantra. But your nature is different than your position, because your nature is your subordinate to the love of the devotees. So King Prataparudra is developing that love. You will give him darshan. Very nice way of logic argument between 2 Prabhus. So, but Jiva's nature and position has a similarity, but this Madhacharya did not define completely like that. So his nature is servant, but his position is different from Vishnu. In both the condition, the number 6, both condition and liberated condition, jivas are higher and lower according to their status. Liberation doesn't mean an impersonal merging. That is true. But the next point the Madhacharya put is about the attainment of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. But we don't agree with that in one sense. Why? Because that's not our ultimate goal. We are not even looking, Kapil Dev says, devotee don't even want to do liberation idea. Even in every temple for 1 month, we sing the Damodarastakam. And how many times Satyavrata Muni mentioned, Bharam Deva Moksham na moksha badimba na chanam brineham varisadapiha idante vapurnatha gopal balam sadame manasavi rasta kimane. Bharam Deva Moksham, no moksha badimba. Then again, after few sentences, another stranger, he writes again, I don't want liberation. So the devotees are like, out of affection, he's saying, I just want only this beautiful form of Gopal in my mind all the time. So we can see Mahaprabhu promote that. No, liberation. Yes, we are not saying that. Of course, you can put a logic. How can you serve God? Like if you want to meet Mr. Trump, you have to go to White House or he has to come here somewhere. So similarly, if you want to serve the Lord, you have to come to a platform where he is being served. He's not served in the 3 modes of material nature. So how do you come? Well, you come to the Suddha Sattva platform. Suddha Sattva platform access door to enter is Saranagati. Without surrender, there is no entrance to Suddha Sattva platform. So like that. So then, number 8 is pure devotional service grants liberation. We say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, actually, not liberation, but gives this bhakti, prema bhakti. We need prema bhakti, not just liberation. Number 9, direct perception, logic, and Vedic authorities are the 3 sources of actual knowledge. This, some truth, same truth were taught of Supreme Personality of Godhead to Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, and Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur emphasized this. When he came to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave him the glory of vision of this truth, 10 truth, Dasamul Tattva that Bhaktivinoda Thakur write. Then Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur was like overwhelmed. But be careful, when you are overwhelmed in ecstasy, the challenge immediately comes to test. So the challenge came. That Aurangzeb's time, how this Vrindavan temple were very threatened. That Pujari, they all had to remove these main deities, Govinda Dev. So there's always challenge in the material world when you practice. Is there any time in any devotee's life the challenge is not there? No, challenge is always there. But challenges makes us more stronger. That's how we get detached from this material world. So the challenge was by the Ramanandi, one group of Ramanujacharya Sampradaya. They complained to king of Jaipur. That time I think the place was called Ambar, the capital. Anyway, that the Vrindavan deities should be handed over to them. So the king of Jaipur was very affectionate to the Gauriyas, and he sent the message to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur felt threatened. And when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur took a vow of Kshetra Sannyas, also as his age, and he was doing a serious meditation on, and also teaching to other devotees there. So he sent Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur. So Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, when he came in the proposal, because of the time I'm going to make it in a short, then they asked him 4 questions. And king, being a judge, he said, okay, let's submit to them. So number one question was that having no commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and you Gauriya, follower of Lord Chaitanya, is not a bona fide of one of the four sampradaya. And third one, that this lady you worship next to Krishna are not legitimate right to be on his left side. They're talking about Srimati Radharani. Can you imagine somebody? Oh, where there was a big time war amongst the devotees. And then they said the name of Srimati Radharani are not found anywhere in Bhagavatam. So why we follow, when we follow Bhagavatam, why we follow Radharani? So, of course, you all know that Baladev Vidyavasana was such a great devotee. He prayed to Govinda Dev, and then Govinda Dev also blessed him that don't worry, I'll dictate you and you can keep your pen on and it will be written down. And he did. 18 days he completes everything. Very beautiful. And when they were confronted, was very interesting. The Baladev Vidyavasana Thakur was such a humble servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jiva Goswami Pad felt threatened also, or the commentary, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his opinion. He said Srimad Bhagavatam is natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra. Why? And he gave a logic. It's based on what Vyasdev is the author of both. And Vyasdev wrote himself that this is the natural commentary, so we don't need. Well, that's wonderful. But Jiva Goswami felt threatened. So he wrote the Sandarbhas. But in Bhagavad Sandarbha, if you look at it, what he promoted? He promoted that this supremacy of Bhagavan's identity. And he promoted one by one, Ate Changso Kalapungso Krishnastu Bhagavan, how Krishna is the supreme. And in order to establish that point, he glorified Bhagavatam. Because they are follower of Mahaprabhu. But he did not say, no, we don't care of anything, whether you accept or not. But no, they take care because they want to satisfy the other Vaishnavas, whoever is challenging, and they establish like this. Baladev Vidyavasana Thakur, next generation, felt the same. Prabhupada also felt the same. In India, nobody cared for Bhagavatam. That's why Prabhupada went to the Brajavasis and he said that I want to send the Bhagavatam to the West so that people will be relief of this Kali Yuga suffering. They all gave blessing, and then Prabhupada said, but Bhagavatam does not go by itself. Somebody has to carry the Bhagavatam. So then they gave blessing to him to go. So this way, Prabhupada made a revelation through English, his own commentary, because English is the most popular language in this world. And he gave very profound, I would say, anybody would read Prabhupada's book attentively would definitely get convinced and go and engage in devotional practice, for sure. So Baladev Vidyavasana Thakur, when he was challenged, then he gave slowly. He says Srimati Radharani was in Vrindavan when Krishna was there. So he asked them, do you accept Garga Samhita? He says, yes. Then Garga Samhita, Gargacharya recommends that during the Brahma Vimohan Lila, how he came to Vrindavan and he told he told Nanda Maharaj to make the announcement to all the coward men to give their daughter married. They traced it and they found it. Yes. But they could not reconcile. Then he says, do you know that year who are the coward boys for those small girls? It was Krishna himself. For 1 year he expended. So they were like dumbstruck. They did not know what to do. Then they say, then he put a Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Brahma Vaivarta Puran, and there is a record of that Brahmaji himself married Srimati Radharani to Krishna. And they also found that they were like, wow, we didn't study anything of. We thought we are the smartest people in the world. But then he's shown also more that in Sanat Samhita, it's a very famous, there's a 8 Ashtasattik Bhavalila, you will be familiar that how Rupa Goswami Pad writes, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. The last line he writes, Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. You may think like, what is Rupa Goswami got to do with Sanat Kumar? They were impersonalists. Then they became a bhakta by smelling of tulasi with sandalwood paste from the lotus feet of the Lord. How Rupa Goswami as a Manjari is such a high estimation, glorifying? Because they are like a reporter. Reporter, not necessarily like a soldier in the war. Similarly, reporter comes to Vrindavan. They come as a bumblebee. Even Brajavashi cannot go in the Kunja where other gopis cannot enter. But the bumblebees are allowed. Bumblebees, they report what's going on. Beautiful form of Radha Krishna, and their reciprocation, their discussion is so nourishing. They write, they report. This is called Sanat Samhita. Not necessarily they participate in that, but in one sense they do as a reporter. But you know, like in the war, the reporter also make the commotion, but not a real emotion. Commotion is like, oh, they just fought, oh, they just throw the gun, you know, another bullet or something. It sounds like he's like a part of it. No, he's just reporting. He's making this show just to create the atmosphere. But the soldier who actually participated, they don't talk. They are feeling it. When they shoot the bullet or get hurt, they are feeling it. So it's different. So for Kumaras, then they accepted, yes, Sanat Samhita. They said, Sanat Samhita explains this, that Radha is the full, complete potency of the absolute truth. And they found it. They were like shocked. Then he says, before Mahaprabhu came, Gita Govinda, Jaidev Goswami, Smarala Garala Khandanam Mama Sirasi Mandanam Dehi Padapalla Mudare. All these verses explains about Srimati Radharani's position. They found themselves the highest scholar. Then they found themselves at the feet of Baladev Vidyavasan Thakur. Then Baladev Vidyavasan Thakur went on right in front of the king and assembly Vaishnavas. That how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established Bhagavatam as the supreme. Even in Bhagavatam, Radharani's position is higher. So he asked them, do you worship Rukmini Devi with Krishna? He said, yes, she's a Mahalakshmi. But we don't have any more doubt, all the evidence. He said, no, there is more. Do you see Rukmini Devi's position very high, more than Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi? He said, yes. Do you know the story of 10th canto 3rd chapter, that who is that gopi? Anaya Aradhita Nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvara. And then later on the Rukmini's case, that where Rukmini Devi was inquiring to Draupadi, that how is this that we are 16,108. We're trying to get our husband Krishna. At least 3 times mentioned in Bhagavatam that like Rukmini Devi would decorate herself so beautiful, so beautiful. She's beautiful. Even in Amba Devi temple, when she came out, Prabhupada writes in Krishna book that some of the Kshatriya ruler, they were so powerful, but when they came to participate with Shishupal's wedding, they thought Shishupal going to marry. But then when Rukmini Devi came out of the temple, first time they saw, her beauty was so beautiful. It was overwhelming that they never could imagine a girl could be that beautiful princess. That those Kshatriya, thousands of them all fainted. So beautiful. Do you know how many times Rukmini Devi tried to make Krishna fall for her beauty? But when she tried to come, dressed very beautiful, come and seeing Krishna's beauty, she felt, oh, he's so beautiful. Instead of alluring Krishna, get allured by Krishna. How is possible that Krishna sometimes cry in the name of Radha, Radha? And he shown them the evidence. And they were like shocked that how so long, years after years they studied, but they could have no clue. They not only humiliated, but they felt very embarrassed that they did not have any understanding of the real truth. Then he writes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful incarnation of Krishna ever existed in this world. And he said that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's merciful nature, that he came to deliver even to Mayavadis, in order to deliver Sarvam Bhattacharya, in order to deliver Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur, he took the sannyas from Sandipuni Muni, who came as a Keshav Bharati. And he shown him the evidence. This is Sandipuni Muni, where Krishna Balaram went to learn, and he was his guru. Sometimes we see in past times, he mentioned even Lord Ramachandra took Diksha from who? Vaishishta, Guru Vaishishta. Who is Guru Vaishishta? Who wrote Yoga Vaishishta? His impersonal conception. They were like, yeah, that's true. We didn't even think that. So they were like kind of very embarrassed. And then, of course, Mahaprabhu took initiation from Ishwara Puri, who is initiated by Madhavendra Puri, who is a disciple of Lakshmipati, and he gave the whole explanation of Madhya Sampradaya, bona fide. So from that moment, they became so overwhelmed that they actually surrendered to Baladev Vidyabhushan. And they even wanted to be reinitiated. Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur says, no, Ramanuja Sampradaya is bona fide. But if you want to understand the highest goal and highest gift of the God, you have to embrace Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. So they all not converted, but they adopted this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. It was the most fundamental, not rival, but Gauriya victory, that we are very fortunate that he did that so that we would have access. And it's always like scary that this Maya will create some opposition individually to our life, through our mind, collectively with the other outside sampradaya, other religion will attack. There is always, this is the nature of this material world. When you are practicing, you feel like there should not be a stage should come, there will be no problem. There is no such thing in the material world. In spiritual world is eternally you are free. Eternally you have independent to serve the Lord. No opposition. But the rasa, asadan, tasting rasa, there is an opposition eternally in spiritual world. Why? Because it intensifies. But there is no rival, real rival, or it's only in a conception. Just like in Golok Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda, seeing Krishna, all of a sudden she remembered Putana. There is no such thing called Putana in Golok Vrindavan. But the impression is there. She grabbed Krishna and embraced. Just like a snake. In Golok Vrindavan, there is a snake. In material world, a snake it's kind of a scary or frightened people. But Radha Krishna's Leela, sometime Radharani becomes so sulky man that cannot be broken. Then she's going, then Krishna is trying to appease her through different way, but everything fails. Then she's going back to her home. On the road is a giant hood snake going like this. She got so frightened, she ran back to Krishna and embraced. She didn't even think about sulkiness or anything. She said, I'm so scared of the snake. Of course, that snake is Satchidananda body. It's not deadly or poisonous or anything. But the impression is there. And that snake serves the Radha Krishna like this to make their union more relishable. So like this in Golok Vrindavan, opposition is not an opposition because everything is Satchidananda. There is no poison or there is no death, there is no disappointment. Those things has to be understood. But at Rasa Tattva, we see also, oh, it's already 12 o'clock. I was going to talk about, today is a Gangamata Goswamini's. Maybe in 2-3 minutes, I'll try to wrap it. Gangamata Goswamini's few things we can remember. That those who are listener, when you raising your children in Krishna consciousness, you really making them understand Krishna is the object of love, is the object of everyone's affection. We bow down to him, we offer bhoga to him, and children sees that we take prasadam. And you giving Krishna, just like this Gangamata Goswamini had. So if you see a child got so much Krishna consciousness, but some or other maybe not so much flourishing in the material world to make good living, please do not feel disappointed. Rather feel happy that they are Krishna consciousness. How many million life they were billionaires? So what? What did they get? Nothing. But this life, because of you, mother, father, Vaishnava, they are becoming devotee. That's all it matters. That's all it matters. And ultimately you will see when they are in spiritual world, that will make you the happy for eternal life. Coming back to here, even material attachment, material success. Okay, we need side by side to maintain the body, but we don't need to disappoint. But so long you are giving Krishna consciousness, that's the best thing you can do as a parent, as a brother, sister, even as a son, daughter, to give to the parents. A lot of young generation, they bring their parents to the temple because they're nice parents, but they are not completely Krishna conscious. But they adapted the Krishna conscious so nice. Now they're bringing their parents also. It's wonderful. We should be happy. Gangamata Goswamini is one example, was a rare example that how she actually molded her life completely. That she was married to Krishna from 5 years old. And when her age came to get married, she told to her father, I'm already married. Why you are pressuring me to marry again? He said, no, but I mean like practically, physically, like you need to marry someone. I'm the king, Naresh. I'm the big king, Naresh. And I have a kingdom. You are the successor. And you have to rule the queen. He said, Krishna is the king. I'm already married to him. I don't need to marry a human being who is a barge of death. I don't marry to a bari who is, of course, she is a very extreme example. But many things we learn that to follow his guru, her guru's instruction, how spiritual life actually revealed itself to her. You know how she became Mother Sachi to Ganga Mata because of this Ganges appear by Jagannath's mercy, because she was following her guru's instruction. Those things are wonderful. Even we learn that those who worship deities, this is a very interestingly, because we are trying to do that also. Everybody has a deity in your house. See what Gangamata Goswamini came to a point that she was doing Manaso Seva. I beg to all of you, in my own experience also in my life, I see that. Try to do some meditation on Krishna. Like chanting, close your eye and think of this holy name. Just hear the holy name and it will take you to some absorption is required. You will see all the life's trouble disappears. Not that purpose you are doing it, but this is required. Gangamata Goswamini was an example of, she was so much into this absorption of samadhi that she would not buzz for anything else. One Brahman Chandra Sharma, he was in Jaipur and the Lord came in his dream. He said, go take my deity form to Gangamata Goswamini in Puri. And this poor Brahmana walked from Jaipur to Puri. I don't know how much, maybe 2,500 kilometers. Something like that, walk. It's a long walk for 2,000 or even, I don't know, maybe from Calcutta was a 3,000 kilometer. So something like that, 2,500 kilometer. And then after he came and he told, he found out where Gangamata Goswamini in Sarvam Bhattacharya's place where she renovated a little bit, just with a little test hut, because her guru, Haridas Thakur, told to her to do this. Then when she heard this, Chandra Sharma wants to offer his deity to her. She said, oh no, I don't have time, sorry. Tell him I don't have time. So he was shocked. He said, in my dream, the Lord came to give you and you're not wanting. So early morning, the Lord came in the dream of Chandra Sharma, says, leave the deity in front of Tulasi Devi. So he left. And also came in the dream of Gangamata Goswamini that I'm so hungry and thirsty for days. Why can't you just give me some water at least? I'm so thirsty. I'm outside under the Tulasi tree. She just woke up and she's like, what's going on? She immediately took bath and ran to the Tulasi place. She looked at the Tulasi, okay, everything's normal, but the dream says it. And she looked at very close, underneath there is a Rashik Roy, Krishna. And she felt like so overwhelmed, she started crying and crying and crying. Very interestingly, she bathed him and she's overwhelmed. How am I going to take care? I like meditation, but the process is through meditation you come to this stage. First you do the deity worship, then you come to meditation, then through meditation you come back to this stage where the reciprocation, like acquired knowledge, realized knowledge, now revealed knowledge. So gradual sequence. So then she offered Bhogo and she saw the whole plate being eaten by Krishna with this small deity. He's eating, grabbing and eating. I'm laughing because I'm not meditating in that way. She started crying. Oh my Lord, I'm sorry, in meditation I was feeding you, but this is real happening. And she fell in love and she served the deity, his deity, right in front of her. The whole plate would be empty. He was eating through his hand. It was like a service. Can you imagine a small deity? I saw this size, a small deity, and ate the whole plate. And every day she would offer, he would eat. She would give water just like what we do in our temple. She would offer every day. And they had such a bond. Then all of a sudden she started getting scared because her body is becoming old. And she started crying to Rashik Rai one day. He said, I'm so nervous that I am in love with you. I want to serve you, but my body is not allowing. I'm so old. Now what to do? And so the Lord came in the dream. Said, don't worry. give to your servant Banamali, he will take care, and you come back to my eternal dham and stay with me and serve me there. So very soon she left this world, and that deity is still there. If you go to Jagannath Puri, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's place, you will see her samadhi is there still. It's near, next to Seto Ganga, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. I went with Sripad Radhanath Maharaj. We went for 7 days tour. One day we just drove and just went different places. So I'll end with this. 12:11. Is there any question, comment, reflection? Mothers?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much for the class. Your classes are always so enlivening and so beautiful. And also thank you for the very beautiful blessing at the beginning of your class. I'm grateful for your thoughts and your prayers for us. And of course, I offer them back to you. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please pray for me too.
I will.
Thank you. Anyone has any reflection?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, very nice class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. This is Asta.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Srimati Ganga Maiya ki jai. Ganga Dasi ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. You are taking in a dham, Prabhuji. We are not qualified, but when we are coming in a association of specials like so sincere soul, we feel that Leela. We don't have any qualification, Prabhuji. Please trust me. But by the vibration of that true sincere senior Vaishnava, we feel that Leela. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to your sincere seva. Prabhuji, one small request. No need to sing, but can you please read and Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Dai De, if it is possible. Hari Bol, Jai Shri Radhe.
Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Dete. You all know the song.
Yeah, but we want to, you can read it, but we want to hear from special soul.
I don't know. I mean, I have to find the book. Anyway, I'll just sing. I think we all know the song. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Gokulatārani mandala mahite. Gokulatārani mandala mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Damodararati Vardhana Vese Harini Skuta Brinda Vipinese. Damodararati Vardhana Vese Harini Skuta Brinda Vipinese. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Vrishabhanudadi Navasasi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vikase. Vrishabhanudadi Navasasi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Visakhe. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Karunam Kurumai Karuna bharite sanaka sanatana varnita charite karunam kurumayi karuna bharite sanaka sanatana varnita charite radhe jaya jaya madhava daite. This is a beautiful song. The Rupa Goswami, I tell you a 1 minute, one little pastimes of Rupa Manjari. So you should be chapter. Rupa Goswami is going to describe most confidential things. One time, after Srimati Radharani cooks every day, near Nanda Maharaj's bhavan, there's 50 rooms. Then there is one special room when Srimati Radharani or her parents or somebody comes to visit Nanda Baba's place. That room is for them. Like after she cooks for Krishna. They rest little bit. Then she goes, a beautiful kunda is there. And in the kunda, but Krishna, she goes there and she sit down sometime just to relax with the other manjaris. Manjaris means it's like so intimate. It's not gopis. It's not, I mean, they are also gopis in one sense. They're Nitya Saki, they're called manjari. There's 5 types of Saki, Prana Saki, Priya Saki, Nitya Saki. So Nitya Saki, they are so intimate that it's almost inseparable from your body. Just like when you are in maternity room with your baby born, there is no distinction between shyness because your baby has no idea. Similarly, Manjuris and Radharani doesn't feel any sankoch, like she has to take care of herself in front of Manjuris, that how she behaving with Krishna. They become like part of her body. So that's why Manjuris are very special. In teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada gives the last chapter that how glorious those Manjuris position. Even Hamsudut Maharaj, he just passed away, he asked one in his letter, he asked this question to Prabhupada. Was our parampara, your spiritual master is serving Manjuri? So Prabhupada writes, well, these things are very confidential. We don't discuss this. But then if you have a question, where are you going to go to ask the question? So you can ask the question, it's fine. And then he writes, yes, my Guru Maharaj was serving the Manjaris. So Prabhupada could not hide. He revealed the secret. At the same time, he cautioned us that it is not something we talk in public. So, but anyway, so that time, one day, Srimati Radharani, after cooking, she went to that pond and she's just sitting down there. Krishna, by nature, after he had a first glance of her, he became so enchanted by her beauty, even though he's a little young boy, this is after Gopastami. Gopastami is when he was 6 years old. So he's around 6.5, between 7 and 6.5. Then he was so enchanted that he would hide somewhere and look at the beauty of Radharani. Just like in this normal world, young boy and girl, sometimes, they pick because they like the other person, something like this. Because its origin is there. So Krishna would go hide in a tree, on top of the tree, knowing that Radharani will come and sit on this bathing ghat of this little pond, beautiful. And he would just stare. And Radharani also, some or other, would like and come there. Now, Krishna is looking at Radharani's face and Radharani also looking at Krishna's face, but not directly. What happened? Krishna's reflection would touch the water. and the water would create, because this Sandhini potency, water is also a person over there as energy, but would create Krishna's direct beauty from the tree and right in front of Radharani. And Radharani sit down and in the stare at the water. She's not thinking, where is Krishna? She's just seeing Krishna in the water and she's thinking that is Krishna there. It's true. And she stares, and she's so happy. And Krishna from the tree looking at Radharani straight, and he knows also that she doesn't know that he's looking, and she thinks he doesn't know that she's looking. That's very interesting. But Rupa Manjari did not know what's going on. So she comes near the pond and she washes her hand a little bit. And when this is in beautiful Padavali, one of the Padavali song narrates this beautiful, Rupa Goswami Pad wrote. Then Rupa Goswami Pad was Rupa Manjari that time. She's washing her hand and ripple creates, and Radharani felt disturbed and she said, oh, don't go away, don't go away. I miss you, don't go away. And Rupa Goswami is thinking, what's going on? Who is she? Who is talking about who? And then because Radharani is not looking to answer from Rupa Goswami, she just felt disturbed. So then Rupa Manjari was quiet and watching whole thing. Then Ripple settled down and then said, there is, Krishna must be nearby where the reflection is hitting the water and she's enjoying his beauty. So then Rupa Manjari figured it out and she said, oh, there you are. So she immediately looked at and Krishna fell, oh my God, I got caught that I'm looking at this girl. And it's like a very unsocial in Vedic culture, especially to look at the married girl's face or anything. So Krishna is trying to climb down quick and Rupa Goswami comes, Rupa Manjari comes. He said, where are you going? You should know who I am. I am Rupa Manjari. My only purpose in life, eternally, just to give pleasure to her. And you are giving pleasure to her. You cannot move. And you move, I'm going to put a bad scandal. So go back and stay there. And you should remember who I am. My only goal is to give pleasure to Radharani. And you have to act. So a lot of time you think like, what is the purpose of Rupa Goswami and Rupa Manjari? This is the purpose, reveals many. So when Rupa Goswami writes like this, these are very confidential. It externally looks like simple bhajan, but this has a very, very confidential meaning. Because here he says, oh, Srimati Radharani, he's praying to Radharani, that your Chinmay love, your beauty are so powerful. How powerful? That so attractive that it captivates even the heart of Madhava. Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, who is eternally self-fulfilled and unfulfilled source of all divine ecstasy and charm. And he goes further, that your own natural excellence, you are the most adorable amongst all the Gokul beautiful themselves, girls. The mandala is like a groups after groups after groups, mandala mahite. And he bewildered them. And you know, anyway, that's a long past times. In Kaliya Radh, after Krishna pushed the Kaliya, this was the first time that the Radharani and the gopis felt when Krishna came back. But while Krishna was playing with the Kaliya, it had many views. The Vatsulya Ras, Mother Jashoda and Nanda Baba, they wanted to throw themselves in the Kaliya Radh, 8 square mile, according to Sanatana Goswami Pad, to rescue Krishna. They felt so much threatened. But the gopis were like shocked. He's such an artistic dancer. They never could imagine. And they could see his muscle even, some beauty of a hero, attractive hero. I remember in early days in India, we used to like, different movie star, a hero and heroine of theirs, somewhere, anyway, some attraction was there. And so, because its origin over there, Krishna is eternally the most attractive hero, and Radharani is the heroine. So that's why this song has a very deep meaning, and Prabhupada wanted us to sing this. So we should sing whenever we have time, and we should relish this Krishna consciousness. I'm sorry it took a long time to explain.
Shri Sanatan Goswami ki jai, Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai, Shri Sridham Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Koti koti dandat pranam.
Thank you, Mata. No question, no comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class, and thank you for the pastime you just narrated about Rupa Manjari. It was very beautiful. Thank you for like Tiffany Mataji said, thank you so much for your prayers in the beginning.
Thank you.
Yeah, it means a lot, Prabhuji, your prayers and your blessings. And for me, at least, the sincerity comes from my hearing, and when I hear about Krishna Katha and all from preachers like you, I try to get sincere devotee. So all thanks to you, and all glories for your preaching, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mata. If no one else, then we can close here.
Prabhuji, only take 1 second.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your association. Thank you. Now we can pay our obeisances to Prabhuji and all the devotees. Vansa kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhu patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Ananta
Koti
Vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki
Ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Rupa Goswami.